Hey, welcome. You already know what today's segment is all about. We are celebrating the influence of hip hop on fashion. Listen, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but I'm back. I'm back. All right, so I am your girl, Tiffany Devon, and I am a certified life coach and wardrobe stylist. And I style leaders and influencers in fearless fashions. And I am the founder and host of Silhouette of a Queen podcast. So I thank y'all for coming in and tuning in. Let me know where you all are watching from. Listen, listen, I want to tell you something. I was preparing for this segment and I was just kind of going through some of the old podcasts. And I knew I took a hiatus and everything, but I didn't realize I had been going since April. Like the last time I actually did a podcast was in April. And I was like, oh my goodness. I thought it was June, but it was really eight. Since I'm sorry, since April. So I took a little break for like 7 months. And, hey, I was just like, you know what? I don't know when to come back. I'm just really in this very unique space where I'm just learning to trust the divine flow of this thing called life and not trying to have my hands on everything and not trying to feel like I have to figure out everything and know everything and what, which is a pretty huge jump for me. So I am learning to just really just sit back, relax. Everybody's saying like this whole thing, a soft life. And I think I can kind of rock and dig with that. So that's where I'm at right now. Just really leaning back and just having a soft life, like not hustling, not bustling, not trying to make things happen. Oh, I gotta get it, I gotta make it happen. The things that we say in the culture when we're trying to get to the next thing and get to the next thing, and that will wear you out. And I know that from personal experience. So anyway, it's good to be back and it's good to see y'all. And I just want to say, hey, I got on my hip hop fashion, and I'm gonna talk about that real briefly before we get into the segment of the influence of hip hop on fashion. And actually, these are things that I've had from my own closet. So, like today, I'm rocking my Outcast t-shirt, which, by the way, they have made a significant impact on hip hop. All right, so I said, let me throw the shirt on, and I actually bought this hat probably like about a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? When I knew I was going to do this segment, I was like, I'm going to rock that tonight. And these are just actually some things that I've actually have worn my own personal stuff in my own closet. So I got a little story to tell before we get into the segment. So this ring that you're seeing me wear today, um, actually belongs to my late mother. It says love. It's a brass knuckle ring. And she passed in 2016 at the age of 68. And in 2017, I went home to Kansas City and I was going through her closet and going through some of her jewelry. And I came across this brass knuckle ring with love on it. And I'm sitting here looking like, where did she get this ring? And did she ever wear this ring? Like, I just never saw her being attracted to the style of this ring. And even for myself, I was like, I don't even know if I could wear this or even if I could pull it off. But it was such a unique piece that I took it and I said, you know what, I'm going to remember it in honor of her. And so when I brought it back to Texas and I started wearing it, I was like, I really like this ring. And so it became one of those things that I would wear like when I wanted to take my fashion pictures and I wanted to have like a bold and edgy look, I would put this ring on. And so, we do things in the name of love around here. Okay. So that's the story behind this ring. So if you did not know, this year, 2023, marks the 50 years of celebrating hip hop. That's a pretty huge thing. And when I was thinking about like how I wanted to present this segment, there were so many different rabbit holes I could have gone down in presenting this information. And so for the sake of time, I just really wanted to just share like little highlights with you of like where it all began. And so I'm just gonna just share with you some brief little highlights where hip hop really began. And it began in the summer of 1973 in an apartment of the Bronx, New York, with DJ Kool Herc and DJ Coke LaRock. They are often referred to as the fathers of hip hop. So DJ Kool Herc was mixing hard funk records in a community rec room in the apartment while showing his love for reggae music. And so DJ Kool Herc, Bamba Ty, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Grandmaster Flash are recognized as hip hop founders. So in 1979, the Sugar Hill Gang produced hip hop's first successful hit called Rapper's Delight. So that's when hip hop became known commercially, was in 1979. And so here's another little quick little tidbit highlight is that I learned about where the actual name of hip hop came from. So it says it was named on accident by one of the MCs with Grandmaster Flash when he used the phrase to imitate the sound made by the cadence of marching soldiers. Hip hop, hip hop, hip. And so it was just one of those things that stuck. It went on to be able to identify a genre of music. And so many people criticize hip hop, as we all know, because of some of the lyrics and some of the undertones and the stories that is oftentimes incorporated into hip hop music. But understanding that a lot of the artists are sometimes displaying where they came from. A lot of people came from impoverished areas, selling drugs, seeing murders, sex and all of those things. And that tends to be really glamorized a lot in hip hop music. But we also have some artists who are conscious and are aware of the images and the music and the things that they want to put out there into the culture. And so they're just a little bit more aware of how they want to show up in their music. And so it's so many different lanes of hip hop, but I wanted to share that with you just to create the foundation piece of where hip hop really started, and then I'll tie it in how it started to trickle on into the fashion piece. So let's talk about the ladies of hip hop. So MC Sha Rock is one of the original members of the Funky Four Plus One and the first woman MC. And in no particular order, after she was one of the founders and the first ladies of hip hop, you would then go on to see like rappers like Roxanne Shante, JJ Fad, MC Light, Salt and Pepper, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, and that's just to name a few. And I remember as I was growing up, just to kind of give my own like thing with hip hop, I just remember Salt and Pepper when I was in elementary school. And I just remember seeing, Salt and Pepper and DJ Spinderella, and they just had this funkiness and this edge and this vibe. And it was just like, with the shaved side hair, the lines in it, the blonde hair, the cat suits, which by the way is making a comeback this year, but they were rocking the cat suits with the leather jackets and the knee-high boots and things like that. So Salt and Pepper was very, very instrumental in pushing like fashion out there in the hip hop world with the ripped jeans and everything like that. And so I just remember singing their songs when I was a little girl, talking about push. And you just knew it was just a song that you probably really shouldn't be saying, that your mama didn't want you to say, but you kind of just said it anyway when she went in the room. That was me. And so I just remember that group. And so they were one of my favorite groups when I was growing up. So over time, hip hop continued to evolve to what we see today. So many women, so many men too have blazed the path for hip hop. And so 2023, you have been seeing so many different things in the culture in regards to hip hop celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Now, even if hip hop is not your thing, you're like, I don't like it or whatever, there is no undenying though that hip hop has made an impact on our culture. You can't go nowhere and not hear hip hop. You can go to your local grocery store, to a basketball, football game. You're going to hear it there. Sometimes you may even hear a little hip hop beat in your church. Sometimes your favorite Christian artists have put hip hop music into their songs. There's just really no space that you cannot go where hip hop has not made an impact. Commercials, movies, it's everywhere. So it's here. It's not, doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Celebrating 50 years. You have new generations coming in and adding their own flair to it. And so, hey, that's what it is, and that's what we're gonna do. So let's talk about the influence of hip hop on fashion. A couple of weeks ago, I had did a fashion picture, and I was like, I want to do like my little homage to hip hop. And so I had wore this necklace that I have on today, and I had on some Adidas. And these Adidas, like, if I must say so, they are fresh to death, like they used to say back in the 80s, fresh to death. And every time I wear them, I get super duper comments on them. And so I decided, like, I want to just put this picture out here, and I want to pay my homage to hip hop. And so Adidas is one of those things where it can be traced back to even the group Run DMC rocking their Adidas, and how Adidas just blew up from then and was associated with the hip hop culture. And so I wanted to just pay my way to showing how Adidas has made an impact on the culture. So we can talk about brands like Adidas, and even like your higher end brands like MCM, Louis Vuitton, Christian Louboutin, Chanel, Gucci, Prada, just to name a few of high end brands that where you can see a lot of artists wearing these brands in their music videos and their photo shoots and things like that. How these brands have been able to merge into the hip hop culture and put it out there before the masses. You know, it was a thing. Now it's a thing to be an influencer, where you as an influencer can represent a certain brand, and if you put that out there, now your followers want to see, want to have whatever it is that you're wearing. So they were influencing the culture before it was a thing to be called an influencer. We can also see that hip hop has impacted fashion in the area of hairstyles. Like I remember back in the 90s, the mushroom, where ladies would have their hair like long, and then this part right here was cut short. So that used to be called the mushroom. And then what I was mentioning earlier with Salt-N-Pepa, how they used to shave their hair off on the side and you have lines in it. So like in 2019, I think I wore my hair from 2019 until about 2021. I had my hair like how it is now. And I was taking and shaving my sides off. Now that was a pretty bold and edgy move and look for me with the lines in there. There would have been a point in time where that would have been just too much for me. But to the person that I have evolved to, I was like, I'm gonna stop, do something a little different. And so I did. And so I wore that for like a couple of years. But again, that is attributed back to in that culture and that time where it was really cool and it was popping to do that. Remember the lines in your eyebrows? That was a 90s look where men and women used to do that. Used to just take like a razor blade, a single edge razor blade, and just zip, like two lines on the ends of your eyebrows. That was also a thing. Dyeing your hair blonde, those kinds of things. So those are just a few examples of how hip hop has crossed into fashion. And what I want to share with you is two ladies who are very instrumental in, I'm going to share my screen with you, who have been very instrumental in the hip hop space as wardrobe stylists. All right, so I believe you guys can see the screen. All right, great. So this lady here is none other than Misa Hilton. And Misa Hilton is an American stylist and fashion designer. She was raised in Mount Vernon, New York. And at 17 years old, she assisted on a Jodeci music video and convinced the record company founder to let the members wear combat boots, hoodies, and backward hats. She would go on to dress like Little Kim and Mary J. Blige. It's just so this is just some of the clientele, not all, but some of the clientele that Misa Hilton has styled. Now, if you followed hip hop for any length of time, even if you didn't, there was no escaping this one outfit from Little Kim, which was the purple jumpsuit with the pasty over the boob. Like I remember when that whole moment happened, and it was a huge thing in the industry. So that had never been done before. So Misa is responsible for coming up with this iconic look for Little Kim. Okay, she's also been known to style the lovely Mary J. Blige, and as you can see, Mary J. Blige is rocking one of the labels that I mentioned earlier with MCM. And so we love a good Mary J. Blige thigh boot. She's always gonna rock a good thigh boot, and that's what she's doing here, and that's what she's serving. And then Jodeci, as I mentioned earlier, that was her first styling on a music video. And so we grew to love Jodeci back then as this edgy boy band who were belting out these nice R&B songs, but they got this rugged look. And so Misa Hilton is responsible for that look. Okay. So by the age of 25, she had made $1 million as a stylist from styling all of these different clients. Back then, she became known as people were describing her clients as ghetto fabulous, but she liked to refer to it as hip hop glam. So she is also her and another stylist that I'm getting ready to feature here. Both of them are responsible for merging high end fashion in the whole hip hop world. And so none other than Miss June Ambrose. June Ambrose is an American stylist. She's a costume designer, author, creative director, influencer, and TV host. She is also the creative director of women's basketball for Puma. She's also styled Missy Elliott, Jay-Z, Will Smith, Backstreet Boys, Jamie Foxx, Alicia Keys, and Enrique Iglesias. And that's not even half of the celebrity clientele that June Ambrose has styled. But she got her start as an intern at a record company styling new artists. She brought high fashion to hip hop and R&B and streetwear to fashion runways. And here are some of the looks that June Ambrose has been associated with. We have Missy Elliott, we have Jay-Z, and then down here, these last couple of pictures are pictures of her own fashion. But with Missy Elliott, this was a big thing because she is also responsible for coming up with the idea, working with Missy Elliott for her debut video called Rain. I can't stand the rain against my window. Now, if you seen that video, you knew it was a quirky video, and it was so outside the box. It was just on a whole nother level. It was like, who is she? And it's this funky beat. It's this video that you wouldn't expect it for to go with the song. Well, June Ambrose partnering with Missy Elliott, her coming in with this trash bag, blown up with this, like the whole look. So that was a big thing. That was a pretty huge thing for Missy Elliott and June Ambrose. And then she styled Jay-Z here in this video with Beyonce called the name of the song was called Ape Shit. So she styled him in this suit. And then of course just her own personal styling down here in these last two videos. But June Ambrose is, if you don't know who she is, just look her up. Follow her on social media. Just check her out, especially on her Instagram page. I really love her because June is very comfortable in her skin. She's very out of the box. She's a forward thinker, um, very positive. Just just marches to the beat of her own drum. Just her infectious personality. June Ambrose, check her out. But these are some of the two ladies that are responsible for paving a way for fashion in in the hip hop industry, in the hip hop world. One of the things that when I was researching them, and even in some of the videos and things that I saw of them, they both were pioneers and trailblazers. No one had ever done what they were doing. So it was really like just a lot of trial and error in regards to them creating the looks that they were creating. And being African American, and no one has ever seen this before. So there was a lot of rejection. There was a lot of misunderstanding. People in that industry not really understanding what they were trying to do because it had never been done before. And if you know anything about a person being a pioneer and trailblazer, you have to get used to that whole thing of being misunderstood, which is what I talk a lot about here on Silhouette of a Queen podcast, is being a trailblazer, being being a person that stands out, not being afraid to break the status quo. And a lot of times when people are pioneer, they don't even know that they're doing it. They're just showing up and being themselves, and they're rocking the boat a few times over here. They're not even really understanding why they're not even accepted in certain social circles and things like that. But they are responsible for that. These ladies are responsible for paving the way for so many Black stylists to come after them and do what they do. And that's the beauty of being a pioneer and a trailblazer, is that you get to blaze a path, and then other people get to come and build on your foundation. They get to add the walls to it. They get to add the roof to it. They get to add the windows. But had it not been for them, you would not exist. You would not be able to get to do what you are are called to do. So I that is pretty much it here in a nutshell, with how hip hop has inspired fashion, how it's crossed over to fashion, and what it will continue to do. As we get ready to close, I want you to think about, how has hip hop made an impact on your life? Whether that is, music, whether that's in fashion, the boldness of it all. What are some things that you can do, how you can show up in your life where you're more bold, more free, and things like that. I'm definitely, listen, I'm doing that work myself of showing up more boldly, more free. And honestly, if I must be honest and have a transparent moment, I feel like even today with me coming on, I feel a little bit more lighter than I've ever been. And that's because I've been doing a lot of chucking stuff. And so, hey, we just never know, like, what's going to continue to evolve in this process. But Silhouette of a Queen is 3 years old. And so, as I continue to evolve, it is my intent to take my audience with me. And so I am always appreciative of those that watch it or listen to it or watch the replay. Thank you so much for continue to rock with me. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, or share this with other people. It really, for one, it is able to increase my viewership when you're able to do that. And then I just love the love. You know what I'm saying? Show a girl some love. Hey, I like a little love. So if you go ahead and do that for me, and that way you won't miss the next time that I go live. So I thank you so much for again for rocking with me again. The influence of hip hop in fashion, and it is your girl Tiffany Devine, and I will see you next time. We're going to talk. We're going to wrap up the next podcast. We're going to wrap up the year 2023. I always like to do like a little year in review type thing, and so that's what I'm going to do. And we'll see you soon.